Grace from GK Reads created this tag based on the Christmas film Love Actually. So today I'm going to do that. I am in my Grinch onesie, which I adore. This is actually a children's one. I got this from Primark about a year ago, just over a year ago. And this was £12, whereas the normal onesies for adults are like at least 20 quid. I love this. I have my tea in my Christmas E for Edward mug that I got from Tesco. And I have my hot water bottle because my flat is very cold. So there's 7 questions. I'm going to talk about the movie a bit first. So I watched Love Actually earlier today. I've watched it a couple of times, but never really properly. Do I like Love Actually? It's cute in its own way. My favourite parts are probably the more cinematic elements. So I like the opening with the people hugging each other at the airport, and then the end where it's all like collating with them hugging. I think that's really, really cute. I think the contrast between all of the characters just holds the movie together well enough. I think if I was watching any single one of those storylines for like an hour and a half, I would probably switch the video off. But because they're all next to each other and they all kind of come to a head near the end, I think the movie is decent enough. The dialogue's good in that movie as well, actually. My favourite storyline, if I had to pick one, would probably be the Colin Firth one, where he plays this like shitty writer. I imagine this is probably what Dan Brown or James Patterson is like in real life, where they just churn out just shitty crime fiction or whatever they write, or pay people to write for them. That's probably the cutest one, just because they can't speak each other's language, and you have the irony of them saying the same things but in different languages, or insulting each other. The cast is also amazing in that movie. Like, the amount of like talent they had in that movie was brilliant. Hollywood movies never really have to be morally right for love to be idealized. You know, like in Notting Hill, she has a whole boyfriend, doesn't she? But no one talks about that. And this movie is the same, really, where that guy who holds up the signs, he's in love with his best friend's wife. If I had a best friend and I was in love with their partner, I probably just wouldn't be best friends with them anymore, because what kind of a friend am I? But when he holds up his sign, he is like, there is no hope or agenda to what I'm saying. But I'm like, why bother saying it then? You're saying it because it's Christmas. But, you know, if your best mate came to the door right now, he would be like, what kind of a fucking friend are you, mate? So, actually, you did have a hope or agenda. You were probably hoping she would run off and leave your best mate, and you were hoping to get some attention, probably, by doing that. This is, like, brilliant cinematically. But if I was Keira Knightley, if this guy had always been rude to me and never spoken to me and then declared his love for me, I would probably think he was just shit stirring.
Do you really expect me to believe that?
And I would tell my husband, I would be like, husband, your best mate, I don't know what problems he has, but he's obsessed with me. He's writing shitty notes to Christmas Carol music. Like, he's coming to the house basically stalking me. I have visual footage that kind of seems like serial killery footage. Keira Knightley just kind of seems happy with it. Like, she's like, oh my god, you love me. And then the guy walks off and he's like, enough now. Enough. You actually see like the contradictions of love, because people, as a viewer, it's really easy to be like, you're married and you're cheating on your wife. But in real life, people do shit like that. So I don't mind seeing like morally reprehensible stuff in romantic movies. I enjoy watching morally reprehensible stuff, as long as it kind of makes sense for the story. Whereas I'm like, okay, for Alan Rickman and Ellen Thompson, it makes sense because they've got all this like family, just usual Christmas stuff. And then Alan Rickman is so bored that he wants to have sex with this, I don't know what you'd call her, hussy? Mia, the bitchy woman. She literally has no character traits at all, apart from being power mad for maybe a rise in her workplace. Who knows? Possible nymphomania.
You brazen little hussy.
Don't you go calling me names, you old slag!
But I also like just some of like the paraphernalia it has about Christmas, when Alan Rickman is getting the necklace and there's like all the bullshit Christmas wrapping, and that's just a brilliant scene. What else do I like? I like the whole Carl and Sarah narrative. I think it's really, really good for a big blockbuster type movie to have a smaller storyline of, I guess it would be like mental health type stuff. I think the brother is on the mental health ward, and we get to see that. We get to see some of like the actual shitty stuff people have to go through at Christmas. So I like that, and I also love Liam Neeson in it. Liam Neeson is so sexy. Oh, as the plots were going on, in my mind, I was just hoping that Liam Neeson and the actor who plays Carl, because he's also very attractive, maybe because all the characters are kind of interconnected in the story, I was like, maybe in the background, somewhere of the story, Carl and Daniel, the Liam Neeson character, maybe they are lovers somewhere. Maybe Daniel, after his wife dies, he questions his sexuality and is like, maybe I'll try being with Carl. Because Carl is so shy, he could be gay, maybe. Maybe that's why he doesn't go up to Sarah, because Carl is extraordinarily handsome. I'm sure if Sarah was going to wait on it for 2 years, Carl would easily have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever way Carl wants to swing. I think Daniel, the one Liam plays, and Carl should get together. All in all, the way the film portrays women is not very good. All the women were kind of in subservient roles. It's just like the cliched for romance stuff. The main market is women for watching it, I guess. So it's kind of the same with like romance novels, which is why I don't read a lot of romance novels, because it's the same kind of tropes where, as much as feminism says we want strong women characters, like women's romance fiction, it's still pretty much always a powerful man and a like submissive woman. So I expect no less from a romantic movie. But all in all, it's an okay Christmas movie. My favourite Christmas movie is probably The Grinch, the Jim Carrey one, because it is Jim Carrey taking the piss out of the Americanized Christmas capitalist culture. So I'd find that fun. Even at the end when he's singing the Yahoo, Yahoo, Yahoo song, he's still singing it like fake singing it. So I find that funny. And I actually really enjoy the sets they made for that movie. I think they did a really good job with the sets. Right, and now let's get into the bookish questions, shall we? So, number 1, The Christmas Octopus. Octopuses are my favourite animals, as some of you know. The book with the best twist, unexpected twist for this year. I'd probably say, I mean, I don't know if it was the best, but it was definitely fun, the twist in this. Around page 200, it just ramps up and you find out more about the haunted house in it. And I was reading it like, oh, we're really going there. Wow. Yeah, quite enjoyed this. Number 2, I actually look quite pretty.
I look quite pretty.
The book with the prettiest cover. I was actually taking a while to find a book with a pretty cover. I probably settled on this in the end. I felt like this is quite a nice cover. I think this looks nice, you know, torrents of blue and green and rivers and gold. Next. I Hate Uncle Jamie.
I hate Uncle Jamie. I hate Uncle Jamie. I hate Uncle Jamie.
The most disappointing book this year. Did a 20-odd minute video ranting about this book. There are actually several books that I could say were the worst books of the year. And not just the worst books of the year, probably the worst reads of my life. I read quite a lot of recently published contemporary fiction this year, and doing that rather than reading, you know, something like modern classics, picking something recently published, fairly recently published, such as Dex Newburyport or On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, has meant probably that my reading experiences this year have been some of the worst literary fiction I've encountered ever. But yeah, this was all over the place.
I think it's crap, Colin.
Would we call her chubby?
The chubby girl.
We call her chubby.
A book you think has a bad reputation. For this, I have chosen Who They Was by Gabriel Kreutzer. This was on the book along list this year, so I've done a video talking about this as well. But I watched Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings talk about this, and she didn't like it because she found the way women were depicted like pornographic. I mean, she has loads and loads of followers, so I think loads of people will probably think that too. But I disagree. I think, you know, it is pornographic, but it is like gang culture in London. If you know anything about gang culture, it's all about toxic masculinity. It's all about these like fast lives for the women, and it focuses on a young man in it. So if I was dating a man in a gang, I would expect some hot sex. But I really, really loved this. I thought it was kind of stream of consciousnessy. It didn't go on too long, and I was always rooting for the main character. Is he going to be able to successfully leave this lifestyle? And I thought when you grow up in that kind of area, you can really kind of understand why someone would get into this gang. So I think it gets a bit of a bad rep for being an unfriendly book, that it's violent. That is just the nature of that kind of lifestyle. I don't mind that it's pornographic at all. I thought that it made sense aesthetically because the book is so violent. It made sense for it to be balancing that out with like pornographic sex. Such a good debut.
I think it's brilliant.
Right, next book. Made the Life I Live Less Foolish.
A classic fool.
Guess me. Also made a fool out of me. You've made the life I lead foolish too.
The most emotional read. The Heart is a Lonely Hunter by Carson McCullers. Also did a video on this. This just depressed me for weeks after I read this book. I find this so hard going. It was a really good read. It's so well written, well crafted, but all the characters have such hard lives. Like, they're just in this little town in like the south, and there's fuck all for these people. Like, there's such little hope for them. And just seeing them struggle through their lives. By the end of the book, I was just so depressed because I was like, this is so realistic for what it would have been like. This has definitely been the most emotional read for me this year. Number 6, Bottle.
Bottle?
Bottle.
The best translated book you've read this year. Now, I've picked 2 for this. The Discomfort of Evening was probably the best book that's been published this... Was it published this year? Last year. But do I read that much translated fiction? No. So I would have to say this because I did really enjoy this. Did a video on this too. But the best translated work that I've read this year would probably have to be Bonjour Tristesse by Francois Sagan. This is like more of a summary type book, really. I did a video on this too. Every sentence was on fire from this translator. It's only 100 pages long as well, so you could read it probably in a few hours. So yeah, that is the... Oh wait, hang on, no, we've got one more question. All I Want for Christmas is You and You and You and You. 3 books that you want this year for Christmas. Nigella's new book, Cook, Eat, Repeat. I've been watching some of the new shows on YouTube and loving it. I also want... I think I've only asked for that one for Christmas, actually, because I already have so many books. But I've ordered a couple for myself for Christmas. So I've ordered Looking for Alaska by John Green, because apparently that's meant to be one of his best novels. It's a YA, so I'm not expecting that much from it. And I've also ordered Less by Andrew Greer, which I think Grace from GK Reads also recommended. That won the Pulitzer Prize the other year. But I think, is that meant to be like gay fiction? But I think that's meant to be really, really good. So excited for that. Am I going to tag anybody? No. I will just say feel free to do the tag if you want to. I'm still in the works for my October and November favourites video, so that will be up by the end of the week this week. And I'm also going to share like a Christmas poem I wrote a few years ago, so stay tuned for that. Alright, well, thank you for watching. Bye.